welcome. Roll call, please. We got, you know who we have.
And then, for the benefit of the, we have Margaret here, Mariko, James, Manny, and Larry Klein.
That's right, because you've got the recording going.
Recording, yes.
All right, very good. All right, we have the board minutes, the financial reports, the roundtable invoices, and we had some discussion on the financial reports and the roundtables, Larry. So I want to make sure you have those.
And I've also added these are the budget versus actuals.
Okay.
And so if you need a few minutes or if you have questions regarding that, feel free. Otherwise, how about a motion for those three items?
I'll make a motion for those, well, for 4, right?
Well, the general membership meeting is just a discussion.
Informational, okay.
It's informational, right? Or is there
Yeah,
something
no, they don't
is-
really, that doesn't really need to be approved.
Wait, I'm sorry. June 2019 Board of Directors?
So I wasn't there.
I have the wrong,
Yeah, because
it's the
it's
exec
May.
committee.
It's May
Yeah.
exec committee, right?
Yeah.
So
is
it's-
what's in the packet.
the packet is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the April one, actually.
April, because we didn't,
April.
we didn't have
We
a
didn't
meeting,
have
right?
one.
So,
Yeah.
my bad.
April 5th.
Yeah, and I wasn't present,
Neither
but
was I,
they
but-
look factual. So I'll
Yeah.
make the motion to approve.
Okay,
Thank you, Margaret.
so that's the
Sure,
April
yeah, no, I was like, wait,
2019
did I miss something?
board and directors minutes, and B and C, the financial reports and the roundtable invoice. Now, you do have a budget versus actual on the general membership meeting, is that correct?
Yeah, it's in here, isn't it, or did I?
So if we go through that,
No,
we
it's
can
fine.
add that to the motion and take care of the whole suite of consent.
I see the fiscal year, but I don't see the.
Oh, no, it's in the packet? Hold on, it should be, maybe I missed that report.
I think it was in one of the emails you sent out. I seem to recall that.
Too many words. Okay. Okay, that one didn't get included, I'm sorry, of all these papers, so,
Do you want to give us a verbal,
we made $500.
500?
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
Okay.
dinner?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, we don't have a catering bill, West Valley College just paid for the catering bill, they
Okay.
paid for the venue. So, it was
Very nice.
$500, so I will,
It's better than being $500 in the hole.
Exactly.
so I'm gonna say that your motion doesn't include that, since that isn't here, or, I mean, it's
Well,
information.
how about we can say with the verbal information that you provided.
It was in the packet. It's not here.
Right.
It's there, right?
Oh, it is? Like, we have the general membership
It is
dinner
there. Okay,
cost.
so it just didn't
Budget, and then it
print.
shows
What page, can
actual,
you see what page it is?
page 56 of 71.
Oh, 56.
And
Okay,
I only
well-
did that by searching.
Okay, well, it didn't,
Good job.
I didn't print it then on my
Okay.
packet, so that's why I didn't think it was there.
Okay. So it is
So-
there, but it's,
Okay,
yeah, I thought I'd read it, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, okay. So
yeah,
include,
oh, and
let's
$410, not 500, $410.25. Thank you,
Okay.
Larry.
You're welcome.
So so we've discussed, it's noted where it is, and my motion includes it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could I don't know if this is just a point in time, but the committee assignments, sorry, I'm going to, not the,
Oh,
moving to,
Oh, and the minutes?
yeah, in the minutes, so Curtis Rogers is no longer, right, from Montessori.
actually, that is correct.
And then, I'm on that being a committee, but I just wasn't sure if this was a current updated or just a point in time list.
I think that was a point in time list, but
Well,
I'm
also
gonna
it says
open it up and
update
look
in
at
July,
it.
so does that mean we're updating it in July?
I think it means we'll give an update. in
Oh, I
July,
see, okay. Got it.
Although we won't meet in July.
Hold
will we?
on. No, we don't meet in July.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wasn't sure, is this just like from the last
Okay,
meeting?
hold on.
Or is this the final list?
Hold on, I'm still. tell me, okay, I've got it now.
It shows that Curtis Rogers is no longer.
Right,
Yeah.
he's no longer a council
Council.
member.
And
And
where,
what says up,
where are you seeing that?
oh,
It was
update in July,
in
okay,
And
so,
then, who
that
showed
will
up
have-
from the county?
Page
Oh,
4.
Cindy
See-
showed up from the
yeah,
county.
you know what,
471.
because we're
Got it.
going to, okay, so,
That's not,
And then I'm
That's right.
I'm on here now too, but
Okay.
Cindy.
so
from
that
the
was,
county,
that was
right?
probably the first
Arena.
list.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you want me to, would you guys like me to update it, or do you want me to clarify in the minutes that this was the first list? Do you want me to remove it? How would you like,
I think it makes sense to leave it
okay,
as this was what was
it was proposed.
it was
Mhm.
proposed,
Okay.
and then
Have it updated
Clarify.
when we have an
finally.
update
Yeah.
at a future time, then we'll do that. We'll take care of it from that standpoint.
Great.
Because this does accurately reflect what transpired
Back then.
back at that time.
Uh-huh.
So we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. These are for all 4 items within the consent calendar, with the change of on item A from June to April 2019 for the minutes. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, good. Old business, discussion and update on the progress of the Santa Clara Santa Cruz Roundtable.
Just that I will be pulling back now. We've reached a point where they're ready to go.
Very good.
Yep, so that's it.
But you expect that there'll still be some phone call
There'll still be some
meetings that
phone
you'll be
calls.
party to.
I will still attend the meetings.
Mhm.
It's important because the admin for the consultant, kind of the support for our facilitator, he's had 1 meeting under his belt. I will go to the Santa Cruz meeting, just to make sure that everything's going all right.
Okay. With the expectation that you'll further continue to
Yes.
remove yourself from
Yes.
those responsibilities.
Yes.
All right, good. How about the discussion on the general membership meeting? Or we already had that discussion, but on the, is there anything more that you want to discuss on it?
No.
General membership, we're okay?
Other
I think
than
it was good.
start thinking.
I've already talked to my city manager.
Okay.
Well, good.
We're looking for the location and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out and we'll talk more next year as far as what kind of format we have. And, conceivably, December is always more social, although kind of entertainment and social.
Right.
Yeah.
But next year, of course, we have multiple retiring, long time, so we have Jim Bell, we have Jerry Hill
Oh, wow.
retiring. So conceivably, December and or May will focus on they're looking back on their years of expertise. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Actually, that'd be a
nice
good,
to do.
right, good.
Yeah.
And then maybe as opposed to topic, and
Mhm.
maybe it'll be topic, we'll see where we stand next year
Yeah.
at this time. But definitely probably both will be more social, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that takes care of that. New business. Legislative Action Committee, discussion of committee meeting in May and positions taken.
Sorry, I missed that meeting.
No, you're not sorry. Actually, it was very productive.
I thought it
I
was
would
productive.
say. Yeah, and Jeannie Bruin showed up and took all of our positions and the conversation to ABAG and NTC, and ABAG at least ended up, I think, doing a good, trying to include a lot of those comments. So, yeah, I thought it was productive. The one issue that we wanted to pose here was that we had taken a position on ACA 5. One. It was the 55% threshold for bond measures for affordable housing.
Right.
And Anita asked us to reconsider it. so, we voted and it passed that we reconsider it, and then we voted and it was overturned, so the
Oh, wait, was it
recommendation
overturned?
was to not, to oppose it now.
Somebody changed their vote so it would pass.
Now, what was the
Reasoning.
reason?
So,
Yeah.
it's a little bit, well, the connection, their argument is that, if that HABA, the new housing alliance, were to be created, they could have the authority to put out those types of measures, bond measures, and then it would give them a lower threshold to pass. And so, because they're against the HABA, they were against this.
And I guess they didn't put the two together at the first vote.
Right. So, yeah, we
But-
did discuss it, and I can't remember who
But the-
voted which way, but,
But after I got home and started working on the
oh,
minutes,
right, yes.
I realized that we didn't notice it.
You didn't notice?
We didn't notice the discussion on ACA one,
The motion to reconsider.
the motion to
Oh, I see.
reconsider, so we violated the Brown Act.
And there's also the clause that says that if there's any action taken, then we could not overturn it. And the
Yeah.
question is, we've written letters saying we support ACA
Right.
one, so is that action enough to say that we could not vote to
Although,
reconsider and overturn the vote?
although every action is a recommendation to the full board, and the full board made,
Is the one who
Yes.
Right.
approves the letter.
Right.
Right.
So technically, this should next go on the board meeting agenda next Thursday
Right.
as a what the
Right.
LAC recommended. But we wanted to discuss with you all first how we should, I guess, pose this issue.
Well, I think what she said is correct, that it's like, okay, it was reconsidered, the case should be made at that meeting, and then the board as a whole decides whether or not to rescind the
right,
support letter and write a new opposition, or leave it as is, or take a new stance and,
right.
yeah.
Because the default is a decision has been made, so the action is, do you want to reconsider?
Yes.
In essence, like that decision.
Yeah.
So it's just added to next week's agenda.
Do you wanna have the discussion again with the legislative committee, because we did not notice it?
Oh,
Can they make, so this is always the question from a legislation committee standpoint, they can make recommendations to the board at all times, right? Whether or not, none of their, this is one of the things that we did before, was basically say, all these bills
These
could be
lists.
talked, this list
Right.
of bills could be talked out at any time,
um,
and a new recommendation to take action on them can be made to the board as a whole.
but we didn't have ACA one agendized because we had already voted and
And it-
taken a position on it. So it was just Anita asking us to
Oh.
reconsider, and we accepted that. But the question now is whether we should have accepted it. I thought it was
But
okay
Yeah.
too, but I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know the ins and
we
outs
didn't
of it.
consider, we just looked up in the moment, because it happened right,
Yeah.
right as the meeting was starting. So we looked it up, just Robert's rules, but the first question should be, we can't discuss it because we didn't notice it.
Well, let me ask you that, because, I
think
mean,
there's some
one
full
is,
list.
you can't assume that every single thing you're ever gonna talk about is gonna be reconsidered.
And we've never done it in the past. I
Yes,
mean, we've
no.
never,
Yeah.
we've had a legislative
Yeah.
committee,
Yes.
and the legislative committee goes, and we don't agendize which bills that they,
Yeah.
we've never done that.
Well,
I guess
we have our list now, because we've learned
Right.
from,
But it fell off the list.
It
when
fell
we
off
took
the
it, and
list,
we
right?
took-
Because
but I guess my question is, does it violate the Brown Act if you reconsider an action you took? Because
Right.
in essence, anything could be reconsidered.
But we
You're gonna
might
take
have
action,
to
you have to,
agendize it
you have
for
to,
the next
Item 5
meeting.
on the agenda.
it was on there?
I'm just asking you to take a look at item 5 and see what you think on the LAC agenda.
Of
Okay,
the last one.
okay, hold on.
That was on
Oh,
Number 5. Other bills.
Other bills.
Oh,
So I have been told, though, by Los Gatos' attorney, that even though we add that it's
We have
not
to
that you have to
specify.
specify it. So,
at least
Why is
which
it there
bills.
then? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because we
have
have,
it.
no, because remember
Actually,
we have our attachment of all the bills,
Mhm.
Isn't this
and then
for
these are the ones that
following?
we actually take
Yeah,
action
that's
on.
supposed to be for the following. Other bills members wish to agendize or take
For a
action
future
for
meeting.
future meeting.
So we should probably put
For
future
future
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah,
Um,
we should specify that, make that more clear. But even so,
So
you know,
actually,
we've never had restrictions relative to, you know, bills that we take up. I mean, I remember sitting there having the report, you know, of what's going on, and then we, out of the blue, decide that we're going to,
Well, it
do
was
some
last-
things
but
like
last
that.
year we
Last
almost
year
got
we
in
had
trouble.
Last year we were being
told not.
We were, we
We were
almost got,
threatened.
But that was a rather unique circumstance, wasn't it? Or was it, but now that was raised, now we're having to be,
right. It's
more
been
cautious.
raised and we have legal,
yeah,
guidance
Right.
that we should follow.
okay.
So,
Well, maybe
so
the
even though it was conceivably a recommendation, is it viable to just add it to the agenda to say, LAC raised this as an issue and invite the people that raised it in LAC to come back?
Oh, to
I'm sure
this,
that-
actually, that might
Because
be,
since they
yeah,
couldn't take action, all they were doing was making a recommendation
Right.
anyway. They took no real action, although they did
right.
do, we'll say, an unofficial motion. But I
I
don't know.
get, well, I think the cleanest would be to put it on our LAC agenda for next Thursday and
Oh.
re-vote on it,
Yeah,
and
there
then
you go.
that becomes
Oh, that's
a
right, there's a
recommendation.
LAC meeting next Thursday.
Mhm.
Oh, then
goes
that's
to
That's
easy.
the
board
cleanest.
Okay.
Yes,
When does that have to be noticed?
By,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
So we have a few days.
Monday night,
Okay, all right, good.
that's the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do.
All right.
Yeah, that's the
Let's
cleanest.
just do a do-over for that, and
And then I guess for you as the chair for the board meeting, assuming there is this request,
Mhm.
how do you want to handle that? Do you even want the full board to reconsider and have a full discussion, or you just acknowledge there was a change in recommendation?
So it will go to the board as the LAC recommendation, and then
Mhm.
you can,
And then
you
the
know,
board gets to vote.
take,
Yeah.
yeah, whether you want to
Yeah.
accept the change or not.
But do you want the full discussion that we had? Because that could be a long, protracted discussion.
well, somebody needs to summarize it.
Yeah.
So that would be the chair's responsibility, and
Yeah,
And-
that would be
and-
easiest.
yeah, and
Okay.
you'll have all the people, you have the
Pretty
majority
much
of them still
everyone.
sitting there, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have to do anything because
Yeah.
through your piece, right?
Yeah.
It does need to be
that's
part of the
part
agenda,
the-
but
Yeah.
Yes,
It'll be
absolutely.
the LAC
update.
update.
I guess how much discussion?
Yeah.
Really?
And I think our goal is to keep status quo, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be hard to undo what we've already done.
Mhm.
And in general, my
And it would look
opinion
bad.
is, it has a lot of value from library bonds to
Mhm.
infrastructure
Yeah. Oh,
bonds to
absolutely,
everything
yeah.
else. So it's like, to focus on HABA by itself,
Yeah.
whatever that becomes, and
Yeah.
nobody's really sure,
Right.
is kind of defeating or focusing on the worst possible use of that as
Worst
opposed to,
outcome, sure.
who knows if that group could
Right.
ever get together and get that approved for a multi-county thing or whatever, so, okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so bottom line is you're putting it back, or you're gonna be putting it on the agenda. for the-
Yes, and
as
I was
part of
just-
the legislative
I was
discussion.
just checking, we supported it April 20th, the letter was finally sent April 22nd. And I'm looking
And then
here
two
to
weeks later,
see
So,
that it wasn't amended after that, so.
so from just a general standpoint, any bill that we take action on should just stay on the list of bills, so that we won't have this problem ever again. Because
Yeah.
if it's,
Yeah.
And we
Because-
could
Yes and
Because-
no, because I don't necessarily want to allow for, not allow,
Reconsideration.
but the big-
encourage
I
reconsidering.
know, but
right?
the question
So-
is exactly what Andy just said,
Uh-huh.
that we said we were for it, and then it goes through the process. We were all for it,
Yeah.
and through the churning of the legislature, guess what? We don't like this bill anymore, and to have to wait a month to say, okay, we want to take, we're going to have to wait a month to reconsider this bill would slow down that process, meaning, that's the only thing. I understand that you don't want to,
I guess
that's worrying.
so. I mean, frankly, what should have happened was Anita should have contacted one of us
yeah.
early
That's
on
true.
and said, I'd like to reconsider this, so can you put it on the agenda?
Right,
And she
right.
didn't. She just at the meeting said, I'm going to do
Okay.
it. So, I don't want to encourage that. Like, I want them to at least let us know in advance.
Mhm.
we should be
So,
working together.
yeah, they shouldn't surprise us at these
Yeah, I agree.
meetings, I think.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
So last year, I think what we did do though was I think I just listed everything after that happened.
Well, we had a detachment of all the bills we were
Uh-huh.
tracking, and we acknowledged
Yeah.
these are it, and any one of these could be discussed and taken action on.
Mhm.
We didn't anticipate a reconsideration,
Mhm.
so. But again, hopefully that won't occur.
Okay.
Okay, okay, it will be added.
All right. What's this consideration of request to co-sponsor symposium on electrification?
So Silicon Valley Joint Venture is having a symposium on electrification. They're also working with
SPCE.
SVCE.
Yeah.
And so they've just asked us to be a co-sponsor. It's in name, and then we would distribute to our members.
We want to
no cost.
encourage all the cities to come, and it's about building electrification and
Right,
the reach codes and whatnot.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is all good stuff.
Mhm.
Are we just announcing this?
So we
Or are
would,
we sponsoring it?
they're asking us to co-sponsor it with them. So our logo would go on everything, but then we would distribute and disseminate the information as well.
And is there a financial cost to
No.
co-sponsor? Okay.
So I think it seemed like a pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Good.
Do
Do you have to
you,
vote on
do you
it?
want to vote? Have a motion for that?
Sure. Motion to add to the agenda, co-sponsorship of the symposium on electrification.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. Good. All right. Agenda setting for board of directors meeting committee reports to board.
This
So
is
these
a
are-
city of selection.
So we have two appointments for the city selection committee.
Mhm.
One is the housing, the oversight committee for the housing
Oh,
bond
Measure A.
Measure A.
Mhm.
Glenn Hendricks is currently serving. He is the only letter of interest I have received, is
Oh.
only from Glenn. And then the other is the other appointment is, well, it's actually a recommendation, but ABAG has a policy committee. And so the person who
I
has.
just learned about it yesterday.
Oh.
I didn't realize they have a subcommittee?
Yeah, and
It's a
they
weird sort of position that
Oh,
I hadn't
okay.
heard about.
and
Yeah.
they have this big document that I had no idea.
And
It's planning for us all of our cities.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like they want a cap office in your city in mind.
What do they want?
I didn't hear that.
Cap
Really?
office?
They're looking at a strategy on how to cap office
How the-
in jobs rich
Oh,
cities.
because they want that balance?
Mhm.
Oh.
And to see if they capped it, where would those jobs go? Because, we hear like the other cities like Tracy and Livermore saying, well, we want the jobs in our cities.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
cap them in Mountain View and
Wow.
Sunnyvale. And so, yeah.
Those are dangerous waters to be
They
are.
swimming in.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, in light of that, I'm thinking maybe I'll put my name in, but I need
So I
to
have-
study it a little further.
so I have one letter of interest so far, and that's Misa.
Okay.
Oh,
Igor
okay.
from Los Altos.
Mhm.
She's actually the one that found out about it
Mhm.
and called me and said, yeah, and I said, I don't think that's our appointment. So I went back and forth with ABEC for a while. ABEC first said to me, that the appointment comes from the chair of ABEC.
Okay.
But really, then when they finally sent it to me, they said, well, no, you do need to make the recommendation. You make the recommendation, and then we do appoint.
Wow.
So they take whatever we give to them.
Wow, okay.
So those two, so I was only thinking 20 minutes or
Yeah.
10,
No, that
15.
should be,
Yeah,
Should be fine.
should be
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
should go quickly, but,
yeah, I would think so.
So what time would you like the legislative committee meeting to start? At 6?
So what do we have? We just have an update on the housing, the bills, and then this
Yeah.
one item.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 should be fine. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
At this point.
6 to 7,
And then we'll 6, and then we'll do
or do you
Or
the
think?
so-
selection committee at 6:40.
6:45 maybe, just to,
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah.
And that way
Okay.
you can say adjourn this at 40, and you have 5
Yeah.
minutes, Patty.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, then Silicon Valley Clean Energy is working with joint venture Silicon Valley, and they have asked to come back in and to give an update on the REACH codes. And I wasn't sure, Cara Gross would be the one who does that. But she, it would be Girish.
Girish.
And so I wasn't sure
He
if,
did, yeah. I think he wanted to, so the REACH codes, a number of cities have signed on to
Yeah.
do it, so he wants to provide an update on
Okay, got it,
it. And then try to encourage the other cities to sign on.
got it, okay.
and so I think already 8 cities have signed up maybe?
Yeah. We've
My
had a
mayor
lot.
won't
Oh,
put it
here
on
it says at least 7 cities, so I think that after they sent it to me, I think there's a couple of more,
There's
so.
always been climate change, right?
How much time do you think you'll need? Is it requested at a particular time?
15? If that. I don't think it'll be that
10,
long.
10 to 15 minutes? Really?
I would
That-
think so,
Yeah.
yeah, because since
Okay.
he's already done it
Yeah,
once.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why don't we say 15 then?
Yeah, give them 15.
Okay.
I don't know, I have actually no idea.
Yeah.
I think it is,
I don't know, it
but-
sounds
I think it's
Well-
just to make others feel guilty. These are the cities who've done it, this who remains.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want to dwell on it too long. But you're going to let them know anyway,
Yes,
right?
I'll let them
Time
know.
so you
On
can
our
prepare for
agenda
that.
for June 19th, so.
Oh, yay,
Okay.
yay, Saratoga.
I'm assuming we're.
Yeah. So we'll look bad
Is
on.
there, you guys
you
can't.
know,
You can let me know it's on our
but-
agenda.
No, no,
Yeah.
so we
Don't-
can
don't say we're
too,
in-
we've
yeah.
asked it,
Oh,
which is our legal right to ask, it's, he has to schedule. And it's not on the schedule
next year.
next year.
Okay, so,
Alright.
the next one is, the city managers, had a presentation from the city of San Jose on, scooters and how they've developed their policy on scooters. And it was actually really fascinating, because they also discussed the difference between what San Francisco did and what San Jose did. I mean, San Francisco banned it and studied it, and San Jose decided that they would, allow it, and then they kind of sat back and watched as it progressed, as they developed their code to see different approach, and it was a very fascinating presentation, and so I thought that it would be
Yeah.
a good conversation for everyone.
How long of a presentation do you think that would be?
15-20 minutes.
Really? They can get through in that time? So it's not real complex stuff that they've done?
Probably not, yeah.
Okay.
No, in fact, I think the PowerPoint
slide out's
presentation
over
is in
here,
your.
yeah.
Yeah, your packet is in here.
The slides.
This, I love this shot, because this is one of the guys that collects them at the end of the day from the money, charging them. And so I would think 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
You can see it's only about half a dozen
Yeah.
slides.
Okay, so we've got that for 15 minutes, but let's probably give it 20 minutes because there'll be some questions.
Okay.
All right. Ledge committee report out.
So they'll have the ACA one
Yeah,
conversation.
what do you think, 10, 15?
At least 15.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, but 15, because you'll have to, whatever bills, because it'll be a summary of where things stand.
Okay.
Kind of a mini,
That's true, yeah.
Okay.
Summary of
We'll
45
have to,
minutes.
yeah,
15 minutes.
I know.
All right.
And then we
Hands
can
on that
actually also take in input for our meeting on the fall, hopefully on the next day with
Oh, that's,
David Chu.
yeah,
That's true.
good point.
Yes.
So if folks have things they want us to bring up with them, they can
Okay.
bring that.
Oh, right.
And the Rena subregion, has there been any significant
We had hoped-
progress made in this thing?
We had hoped that you would be receiving the final packet from us in June. We were a little delayed because San Jose didn't finish. Their attorneys have been are putting together our documents. They didn't get them complete in time, but kind of a good news is that ABAG just changed the formation deadline in our favor. It's now going to be February of 2020, which helps us. But so I just want to give everybody the new timeline, but we're still going to try to keep our internal timeline the same. We want to have everything complete and ready to submit in December because it's just been a moving target with AVAC. So we would like to have it done sooner rather than later, knowing that we'll have some unanticipated things happen. So
it sounds like a real quick
quick conversation,
update, like
just
maybe
yes,
5 minutes type
yes.
thing. Okay. We'll give it 10 minutes just in case somebody has questions. Okay.
Would you like me to put the support of the co-sponsoring the symposium? Should I put that on the consent calendar or the consent agenda?
What is this? I'm sorry.
The back up to the new business, the consideration to request the co-sponsor the symposium on electrification.
Oh.
That's
you
a
want-
good, I think that's easy enough to put on consent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
with that.
Okay, so
That moves to consent.
we have no legislative visits. Assembly member Berman was supposed to come, and he rescheduled for November.
November.
Wow.
That's
Couldn't
like
come.
too late.
And then
I know.
First,
Nothing's
I
going on
know.
in November.
Really?
Who replaced Ellen? Who's his new?
Zach.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
November.
Well, let's
It
go
was
ahead
October and changed his mind.
September?
Let's go ahead.
September, somebody, Canton Chu is coming.
Let's identify the individuals that we'd like to come and report to us, and then we can work with them on the schedule. How's that sound? That way we get it well in advance.
Okay. You mean legislators?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
So I have a
you know,
list of legislators that are, what we have next. So June was supposed to be Berman,
Right.
and then they changed to,
so that's okay.
then then they first switched to October. They just responded back to me, can't do October.
Have we reached out to Evan?
We've reached out to all of them, and I can reach back out to him, but they
Okay.
hadn't
They
responded
didn't
to me.
respond?
But I can see if, I can send a message to maybe Patrick to see if he can help me.
You talking about next week, or are you just talking about next week?
No, I'm not next week. I think it's too soon to get anyone for next week.
Yeah, and next Thursday is the last day, they said, so,
Well,
for the budget.
they hopefully approve the budget early in the week, but
Right,
Yeah.
but
we'll see.
they're holding Thursday for that, so we probably won't get anyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so in
exactly.
August, we have, Osh, Clara, and
Okay, that's
in
good.
September, we have Canton Chu.
Okay.
No one in October, and then Berman in November.
So August is Osh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have who in September?
September is Chu, Canton Chu.
Canson, yeah.
October, no one.
Now, we haven't had Canson in a long time. But is that by design or is that just by accident?
I think it's
Probably
by
by
his
accident.
choice.
By accident.
I don't remember anybody bringing up Canson and saying, we need to have him come in and talk to us. He was at the general membership meeting
Yeah.
Yeah.
when Steve was president.
Oh, that's right.
But
Well, I just sent a,
and I
Which
know that
district
and
is
I
in
know
our-
right. I don't know.
Because you know who would be
Yeah,
interesting
that's
to
very
me
good.
is the new guy
Amazon.
Rebus,
Oh, Robert Rivas, yeah.
and he has what Gilroy and Morgan Hill.
Mhm.
so I sent a message to everyone, and I can follow up again with her.
But we've got
So-
Canson in September, right?
Mm-hmm. No one in October, and then Berman in November.
I mean, I don't mind reaching out to Patrick, but I mean, yeah, any of us can do that.
And I'll try Rebus again. Anyone else?
I'm just trying to think of
Yeah,
people that are
yeah.
that are the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Stone. Fred
Actually,
Has he
Stone,
come by? He's
He
good.
has parts of what San Jose, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And he's just
Yeah.
really good. You
Actually,
solid
yeah.
policy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Okay.
And then Wachowski, what happened to him?
He came last year, but
Oh, did
we
he?
haven't.
We haven't been able to get him down for
Mhm.
this year.
Yeah.
I can't remember what finally got him in last year. I think was that you took a clean energy trip to his office.
Oh, right.
And Rod was bugging him from the
Mm.
and that's sometimes more helpful than me making a phone call. It's when when the legislators have had a conversation with one of you.
Right.
Sometimes. So
Okay. Well, let us know if you need some help.
Yeah.
Okay, so we might get done early.
Wow.
Which is good.
Yes.
That would be really nice.
Let's see if
Yeah.
that can come to fruition.
That's always a good thing that we should
Seven.
strive
Yeah.
for.
Every meeting, Chappie
Yeah.
tells me, it's okay to end
And
early.
you're like, yes.
You don't have to go to
Till 9 o'clock,
You say
yeah.
when it's not here.
Even today, it's okay to.
It's okay.
Yeah, we don't have to get it.
We don't have to go to
I
5.
thought that I was going to give you an hour today.
Yeah.
You
So
finally made it.
that's it. That's all we
Okay.
have to discuss, right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
we're done unless somebody else has something else.
No,
So
I
the
mean,
legislative committee, so the same,
Legislative start at 6.
yeah, you
And-
probably want to add the same CHU feedback to that group also. So you added it to the board.
Oh,
meeting.
right.
You should add that also to the.
we might have
Good
to
idea.
add an extra hour.
Wait. What? feedback?
So feedback for CHU when.
Oh,
when
yes.
Friday. So
Actually, that's
give
a good
them,
idea.
give them a little,
Yeah.
not just the latest bill updates, but.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, take
Oh,
input.
and I
on
just
what
printed
keeping
this
up
up for all of you guys if you wanted to look. This is from I subscribe on the
Oh,
legislative
no, thank you,
website.
I was gonna, I had to
And
look-
these
I
are
need to look
this is
at
just the status of the bills that we're watching.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's
that.
Yeah.
So SB, you
Oh,
said.
so SB 50, I said it
Yeah,
because
you
I
said
got
there
the
was some
weirdest
amendments.
notification that
Mhm.
said it had amendments. So I
Oh.
sent a bunch of emails, and
Mhm.
we're not sure why they entered it that way, but it was
Oh.
the official that it become a 2-year bill.
Ah,
But so I sent the message to several people saying, "What is this? Why is it saying amendments?" But it shouldn't have said that. It
Okay.
should have
Oh.
said.
2-year bill,
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
know.
suspense.
I know.
So that made me a little.
Gives you a little bit of a heart attack.
I know. I was like, "Oh, how did that happen?"
Right.
So
Okay.
you know we're on the other call about SB 50 amendments. I was thinking, should we bring this up with David too? Because eventually SB 50 has to make it
Yes,
into the
back.
Assembly side,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So give him a heads up and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. If you're really gonna move SB 50.
I think they're gonna move it.
I didn't read what the updates were this week.
Mountain View provided, they're the only ones that I think that have provided
Yeah.
updates, so.
Yeah,
You
they're
guys
good.
probably don't, jurisdictions in Senator Hill's, Senator Hill's district were asked to provide feedback to SB 50. And if SB 50 is gonna move forward, what would the cities like to see amended?
Okay.
And so there were some conversations with some staff, a few elected officials, and Larry and Margaret were both a part of that.
Okay.
And Mountain View provided some,
Yeah, which were good comments.
yeah, I thought they were
That's
too.
what I
I'd love
said.
to read it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. To
Yeah. So
put
do
it
you
out
want
there.
that added to an update, or?
I mean, I
To go out to everyone or just to
Yeah,
the board, the
I
executive board?
think just us is
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
'Cause there's some
Yeah.
sensitivity as to
Yeah.
who.
It might be
Right.
useful,
Is in
I'd love to read it so that at least we can have the
Mhm.
conversation with
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should. I don't know how often we're gonna get to see David, and
Yeah.
given his position, it's like let's just give him everything we got right
For
now.
sure. But I think it's also the reality that at some point, some of our committee members and board members need to understand is that saying no in a
Right.
legislative
Mm.
process isn't very,
It's not an efficient use of our time.
no, but I mean, at some point you have to, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to be able to be willing to work and with someone and tell them, well, if this is going forward, what
Right.
you have to provide changes and.
Yeah.
There's an emboldenedness, though, that is renewed. As
That
I've been
is
reading
true,
newspaper
yeah.
articles coming out of Southern California
Yeah.
on what happened with SB 50,
Mhm.
there are people being quoted in those newspaper articles that are the leadership group of these groups.
Mm.
And so, so I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing at all what you
Yeah.
said, but
Mhm.
be careful, because I think there's a level of confidence now that comes with that.
Yeah.
Just say no,
I would agree.
because of what happened with SB 50.
Because
But I don't-
I've seen strings of emails, and it's not just Southern California. I mean,
You see it
it's
up in
a
Northern
very strong coalition.
It happens to be the SoCal papers because, at least this case, the chair of appropriations was came from SoCal.
Right.
So the LA Times was picking up, and some of those newspaper articles were, anyway, it was just,
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting on
Well,
what's
it was-
reported. I don't know if that's how
it
much
was
reality
sig-
was in there.
It was there was a suggestion to me that the reason that it really failed was more that the committee chair was upset with Wiener. And it wasn't because everybody was speaking so loudly against it. It was more of a personal that he didn't.
Could very well
Yeah.
be the
Probably
behind the
what it
scenes
is.
reason.
Uh-huh.
But what's being reported in the newspaper
Right,
Yeah.
right.
is this narrative that
That this
this
coalition.
group, this
Yeah.
coalition and
Yes,
has this
right.
perspective was one of the primary drivers.
That
You're,
is.
I have no doubt that that was
Yeah.
the case behind
There's
it.
always a
George.
mixture of
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually those types of things that become more impactful, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
But it
it's
goes to that
generally
point,
those
though,
types
of
things that-
this cooperative relationship we always want to maintain, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the changes that are suggested, it really focuses on affordable housing, whereas, SB 50, I don't
Yeah.
really know what it was focusing on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if they're sincere, then this is really the direction they should take. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Like splitting up, just creating more housing,
Yeah.
that's
doesn't fix affordable housing.
Right.
One bill that Chu actually authored that you should consider next week, and I just wrote a letter against it this week, is AB 516,
What's that?
which
What is it about?
it's about police removing cars from the public right of way.
Is it the towing one?
Yes.
Oh, I
Police
thought that
removing
was
cars
tea.
from the public.
Public right of way. Meaning what this is basically saying, most of our cities have 72-hour
Yeah,
limits.
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
It
it's true.
would take away that right.
Yeah, towing.
That unless it's blocking,
Yeah.
blocking
Oh,
this
it would
drive,
take away the
take
right.
away that right
Yeah.
completely.
Is
So
that
cars
aimed-
can
is that
stay
aimed at
in
RVs?
Yeah.
for quite some time.
Well,
We're
it's
dealing with
that as well as It's
Any
written
kinda-
because a lot of times when they're towed,
They can't afford to
if it's a lower income person, they can't pay the fees, and so the lien on that vehicle to pay the towing cost and the storage costs
Becomes so high.
become so high that most
They just leave
lower
it.
income basically give up their means of
Sure.
transportation because they can't raise that funds.
Yeah,
And so, as opposed to trying to fix that problem of, okay, you're a low-income person and you're losing your means of transportation,
Yeah.
it's let's get rid of the police's ability, the public safety's ability to remove any car, no matter what shape it's in, whether or not its license has been expired more than 6 months, whether or not it's been, sitting
Yeah.
in front of a house for many, many months,
yeah,
you're not allowed to do that anymore.
huh,
And so we wrote a letter against that this week because I understand what the goal was, but it basically removes the ability for cars just parked forever. And whether or not it's RVs are probably part of it.
That's
But
the
it's
other part.
anything in front of a house or
Yeah.
anything on the public right of way. And I don't know how that applies to like the 2-hour parking, or does it take that away completely too?
yeah,
It's like, oh, it's illegal from, we set a period of time, not from a traffic standpoint, but just from a use of a public space standpoint. But it's far overstepping it basically takes away the abilities of cities to manage their streets.
Does
It's
this
like-
also have a housing implication associated with it as well, from the standpoint that some of the housing bills have been eliminating the requirements for on-site parking, and therefore there's going to be, as a result of some of these more affordable, types of
So
complexes, that
didn't,
it'll have, that there will be more,
Yeah.
street
Street
parking.
parking.
oh, I know, and
And therefore
conceivably
allowing them to be able to have that.
permanently sit
parking.
there. It doesn't mention that, but there's all
Great.
kinds of implications you can think of
Right.
between RV parking, and to me it was something, it's like once my staff pointed it out to me, I'm like, yes, I'm happy to sign it, because the whole concept of,
Yeah,
the 72 hours is there for a reason.
right.
And it's
Right.
not that people own the spot in their house,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want, a car parked in, it's my first thing.
Yeah,
Go park a car in front of Chu's house and say,
Yeah.
there it is. I'm leaving this car.
Yeah,
goodbye."
forever.
And it's like, you could just see that would be,
Yeah.
it's like, that could be the concept.
Yeah.
But it's like, who would want that? And
Right.
so the cities do need that ability,
yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
Good.
something to think about, whether or not
Yeah,
you
maybe we
decide
can,
before Monday or
Yeah.
Tuesday to
Yeah.
add it to the list. But
Maybe we can
it's-
bow out before
it's a-
Friday.
it's definitely something that I want to mention on
Yeah.
Friday. I want to focus
That's
on
good.
housing, but
No,
but this
definitely.
bill came and I'm like,
Yeah.
I understand. And to hear his implication, it's like, this is
Sure.
why I'm trying it.
Yeah.
Right,
Can you carve out different ways to do that? And
Yes.
it's like, if the person shows proof that they have a certain amount of income,
Mhm.
can you exempt that
Right.
or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, it just seemed overstepped. Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Great.
Anything else?
oh,
We okay? Do we make all the motions we need to make?
I believe so.
and we take July off, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
next meeting is August.
August, right. We'll adjourn till August 2nd. All right. How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, good.